See you later, baby. I'll be back.
Dude, so just a brief introduction. Here in Chicago, Mr. Chayse Elias. He's been a gracious host. He's just been doing the most, taking care of me, making sure that I'm having a good time. And I wanted to take this time to ask him some questions just about life and everything. He's a very interesting guy. He's done a lot. And, low key, one of the people I like to look up to as far as handling business, taking care of things, and just being just on it. So, without further ado, Mr. Chayse Elias. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, I'm just gonna ask a couple questions and stuff like that. The first one being that we both went to the same school and everything. We both had different experiences as far as school is concerned. What was your favorite aspect of Prairie View? What was if you had a memory as far as it could be anything, whether it doesn't necessarily have to be coursework, but just what was your favorite time throughout your time there?
I think for me, I would say definitely just the relationship and friendships I made while I was there. But even freshman year, I was in the summer engineering program. I was in honors, and I made a lot of good friends from that. And despite all of us had very different backgrounds, a little bit different experience before coming to PU, but just how well we meshed and how well we got along, and just all the things that resulted from our friendship. So from all of us just going to play basketball at the rec center, from all the years I was there, different trips that we went on together, from things as Mardi Gras, Vegas, Cancun, Austin, and I say all those places, but even just driving down to Houston for a weekend and hanging out, driving down to Dallas and staying at one of my friends' places for a couple of days. But just as someone that moved around a lot, didn't have an opportunity to build relationships and friendships with people. So just being able to be at a place for an extended period of time and really get to know people, and just really be in that environment where you can cultivate those relationships. Easily probably the most valuable thing I got from my time at PVA for the thing.
That's fucking sick, bro. I don't know. As you were saying that, I just got the Prairie View produces Productive Panthers vibes. I didn't know that you were out there just you guys.
You got to work hard, play harder. But
I was Blue Vegas.
As long as you got some work, as long as you made it look like you were getting work done. You can get away with it.
Yeah, you're working, you're working.
But yeah, no man. Like I said, just being able to have a lot of those experiences with people, share those experiences with people. Like that. I've gotten to those places and been able to play.
That's good.
Just being able to find people to share those experiences.
Yeah, I definitely met a lot of interesting characters in PVers, myself, yourself included, and yeah, no, it's good. We've all come a long way, so that's pretty solid. Speaking of which, I was going to ask you, post that, I talked to this man about Exxon a lot just because I wanted to work there so bad. You had the pleasure of working there. Without going too much into detail, I would say, because now you're doing the PhD program, what is one of the most important things that you took away from like all your experiences at Exxon, like full time and internship? Like what, like as far as something you learned or just like habits that you developed from working there? What was like the best thing for you from that?
I think the most important things I learned while I was at Exxon, interning and full time, definitely relationship building. So being able to build relationships with the network, with people while you're there, and being able to be willing to reach out to things that if there's anything that you're interested in, whether it's specific positions, specific roles, just working at a specific place, just being able to find people and talk to people and build relationships, do those things. And I say that just in the fact that like, but then the place that I ended up going to full time, for instance, one of the big reasons I was able to move there was because my very first department head, my very first co-op, worked in that same area. Like, so I worked at the refinery, but I wanted to work in the research and development sector. And he used to work in the R&D sector. So when I told him I wanted to move to Emory after my co-op and figuring out, I know behind the scenes he had told me we would contact him and he worked a lot to try and help find positions to try and ultimately get me to somewhere I was more interested in working in. So definitely this relationship building, being able to keep the contact. And now it's to the point where I'm in grad school now, but I feel pretty comfortable. If I finish my grad degree and I want to go back, I think the people I can contact and they would do whatever they could on their side to try and help me find a position, just because we built such a good relationship as well while I was there. You know, all that also comes with, you know, the work part of it, right? Like, in order to build those relationships, especially the people that you're working for, it's, doing, putting in like all the extra effort and all the effort you need to try and be successful, and you're following up and accomplishing everything that you say you're going to accomplish, and you say you're going to deliver on time. Like, if you deliver early, like you say, they tell you you're going to do hire by Friday, you get it done by Thursday, then let's get it. So just being able, and all that comes with like working hard, staying organized, and not being afraid to ask for help if you're struggling with something, finding other resources that are available, gaining whatever necessary knowledge you need to help you accomplish what you're working on. And when you're there, you take care of your business. All the other things become easier because they understand you. Okay, we know this person is going to whatever we need them to do. Right, and as a result, everything that you need from your side is like
It's good. Relationships, keyword, very important. I think it's really cool that you're hitting that point because, like, I'm personally at a point where I'm starting to hone in on that with my family, my friends, and then especially my colleagues and everything. We're both like kind of young. We both just recently graduated, so it's very good to hone in on that now, moving forward. I was going to segue because you mentioned the fact that you're in grad school now. Just again, we've talked about this ourselves and everything, but like, what made you want to pursue a PhD? When you did have the job, when you did have the opportunity and the money and everything, what really drove home the idea of, okay, I want to go back to school and get my doctorate?
So I would say it's two fronts. So I actually knew while I was at UT that I wanted to get my PhD at some point, and a large part of it was because of just a lot of the faculty and people, professors at Prairie View. Most notably, I was the honor scholarship of Dr. James Wilson, the director of the honor
Shout out to Dr. James Wilson,
who really invested a lot of time and effort into me. I think a large part of the development that I gained personally, professionally, and everything in between is due to the amount of effort that they put into developing someone like me.
You are well developed.
Yeah, still trying to. Still got some ways to go.
I respect that. Campaign, yes sir.
But I think being able to see the impact that they had on me just and graduating in that type of environment, I want in the future to be able to have that type of impact on people in the future as well, the next generation of engineers, young Black Americans.
Yeah.
Just seeing what they were able to do, try to be able to pass it forward. And I think because I think of the points that education really has, being able to do it in that avenue, in terms of being in an academic position, to give back in that way, is something I was always interested in, getting a graduate degree in order to do it. And then the other front being Like I said, I worked at Exxon. I worked my co-op year. I worked in the refinery / chemical plant. My full year, full time, I was in R&D, but I was still like mostly working with the refineries and sites, and not any, very like kind of routine, not applying a lot of the things we learned in undergrad. It's very much like stewardship, very much like there's some engineering behind the models that you run, but like it's very much like push a couple buttons, figure out the inputs, and then you just put the inputs in and get what you need to get. And the people that I worked with while I was there, the people I talked to, were doing much cooler projects, working on global strategy, working on whole refinery-based project versus your one specific technology, developing, building, using a model. These people are developing new models that they can use and then make.
They all had PhDs.
And most of them had some kind of graduate education. Some had masters, but the people that were in like the hardcore research and development had PhD level educations, and I knew long term I would, and even regardless of the industry setting, I wanted to be on that type of field. I wanted to be working on the cutting edge type of projects and work versus maintenance and routine type work. Things like how to refine, figuring out when you're going to replace a pump, or when the heat exchanger needs to get cleaned, or when can we get this turnaround scheduled so we can do whatever we need to do.
Living the life.
Yeah, no, as much fun as that was. I think the people that had PhDs were working on much cooler stuff, and as a result, I think that I just wanted to work on what they were working on, and the PhD more was required in order to do it.
For sure. That's pretty sick, man. It's pretty sick. Like, I think I've spoken to you as far as like my route, the whole campaign thing, seeing the reality of what the engineering consists of as far as like when the turnaround is, we have to replace like parts and stuff like that, and what that actually entails versus getting to like those management roles where you are working on the global team and doing the new things and creating new systems and pathways and stuff like that. So it's given me a different insight for sure. And then even like for people that are watching and stuff like that, and I guess for myself, like what advice would you have moving forward from this point? Like, for people in our current setting, like people that are literally, if not graduating university, have already just graduated recently, whether they're working in industry, whether they're still looking for jobs, whether they're in grad school, what is something that you think will be very, very important for our set, like moving forward, whether it's a skill, behavior, or habit? What advice do you have for folks?
I would say just figure out the things that you like doing, figure out the things that you enjoy, and then find positions that allow you to do those things, whether it's a position that you can get in the next couple of years, whether it's a position maybe a bit longer term, maybe just a few years down the road, but figure out what you want to do and where you can do it, and then figure out what skills you would need to do those skills, and then spend the time short term trying to develop the goals and skills that you need to be able to get to the position you want. And whether that's you want to be, like for me, for instance, I knew I was like, in engineering, it's always like you want to go the technical route or managerial, right? So like, if you want to be technical, which is why I want to be technical, part of why I'm in grad school. But figuring out what area of technical you want to be, if you want to be like a super specialized person in one specific area, or you want to be someone that's developing new things for a little bit more of a broader scope and applicability. Okay, now that's what I know and I want to do. What are the things that I need to do that? Figure that out by talking to people that are in the positions already, right? Back to the relationship building, talking to people who are on track to getting those type of things. Doing your what other personal research you need to do on your side, and then once you figure out, okay, this is the things I need to do in order to get, or the skills I need to have to get to that position. What goals and things I can do now to start put yourself on that track. Like I say technical, but managerial, socializing, social skills, got to be able to network, And even and so that's the same thing. You got managers that got
You have
dependable,
to have good rapport, be
right,
dependable. So
yeah,
you do need a bit of that technical background as well.
exactly. Because you don't want to like a manager that still that understands the technical aspect makes you even better manager. Like,
Yes.
that's the idea that. Like in a lot of places, the best engineers become managers, not because and they might not be good managers.
Yeah, but they're so scary. They don't want to. They just want to do technical stuff. At least
Yeah,
from what
well,
I've seen.
I was saying that's the thing, right? Like they become managers. They might not be good managers, but the best managers that come from that group are the managers that, in addition to the strong technical background that they have, they also are able to develop the interpersonal skills and relationships that come with being a manager.
So it goes hand in hand with the honing in on the relationships with people, like you spoke about in the beginning, as well as shoring up the necessary skills and information for the role that you ultimately decide on doing. Okay, I can definitely get with that. Thanks, man. I'm going to keep it brief here. You know, there's still a lot of stuff happening and everything. Chayse Elias, thank you for just being a good friend. And I guess without any formalness, accepting this mentor role that I've kind of placed upon you. Because I'm definitely looking and taking notes and stuff like that.
Oh man, like I said, the most important thing is, like I said, you give back to the people, you give back to whether it's mentee or mentors, people that look up to you, and then part of that responsibility now that I'm my official mentee now, right, is that now you got to continue to give back as well. So, whatever knowledge you gain from whoever you gain it from, you need to make sure that that knowledge also is passed down to the next, next generation, people you see that you think would be next. The
youngsters.
Exactly. The youngins out there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really, that transfer of information is what really will help people really be successful in the future. Because, now, a lot of times it's not people not knowing. It's not people not knowing, like not having the skills and not having anything. It's more so they just don't know the information. So being able to spread the knowledge and things that will help them figure out all the things they need to do to ultimately be successful.
Amen, dude. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, man.
Dude, yeah, man. This has been very entertaining. We have more things to do here in Chicago, so we want to cut this short and finish this last bit of this Long Island iced tea. But hopefully you guys have found some useful information from this. And yeah, the campaign continues. Take care. Cheers.